Welcome to WNL Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. This week we'll speak with men's basketball player Michael Hegar, women's swimmer Mara Tynan, and wrestler Matt Kaminer. But first, a quick look back at the weekend in Washington Inlay Athletics. Men's basketball picked up its first road win over Hampton-Sydney since 1997, downing the Tigers 70-68. Back at the Warner Center, women's basketball defeated Holland 69-58. Wrestling grabbed its first two Centennial Conference victories of the year, beating Muhlenberg and Ursinus in Baltimore. Back in Lexington, men's and women's swimming both breezed by Randolph, and competing against mostly Division I teams at VMI's Kedet Invitational, men's track and field recorded 11 top 20 finishes, while the women's team had 4 top 20 performances and set 4 personal records. Joining me now is Michael Hegar, senior basketball player from Cary, North Carolina. Michael, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Over the last 2 games, the Generals have struggled to shoot the basketball, but you've still pulled out ODAC wins over Randolph and Hampton-Sydney. How important is it to be able to get wins like that when you're not necessarily playing your best?
We're not always going to play our best, but like our coach said, good teams win good games, so sometimes you have to grind it out, and that's what we've been doing.
WNL was selected 7th in the ODAC coaches poll before the year. You're halfway through the conference schedule and currently tied for 2nd. How has the team been able to maybe exceed those expectations?
At the beginning of the year, we really didn't pay too much mind to the preseason poll. We knew that the start didn't matter, it's just how we finished, and that's what we've been focusing on every day in practice and every game, just seizing the moment and working towards the ultimate finish.
The Generals start 2 seniors and 3 juniors. How has that experience benefited the team this year?
Especially now that we're getting into ODAC play, the experience has been very, very helpful. They know how to win tough games, they know how to finish, they know how to start, and it really inspires the rest of the team, I think.
WNL has taken on Roanoke more frequently than any opponent in program history. What are the team's expectations as you face the Maroons again at the Warner Center?
It's going to be a tough game. They always give us a tough game. We'll have to bring our A game, even if we have to grind it out, shooting well or not. We'll have to just play our best, crash the boards hard, and keep them out of the paint.
Michael, thanks for joining us. Good luck with the rest of the year.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Here with me in the studio is Mara Tynan, senior swimmer from Westford, Massachusetts. Mara, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Over the past 2 weekends, the Generals have recorded pretty sizable wins over VMI and Randolph. How pleased have you been with the team's performances thus far in January?
I've been very pleased. Each season we kind of have a lull between our invite in December and our training trip at the end of December until our ODAC meet in February. And so I think that these 2 wins have shown that we're still pushing, we're still grinding, and we're really getting ready for our conference meet.
WNL is currently ranked 12th in the college swimming D3 poll. What does that national recognition mean to the team?
For me, I think that it's shown how much the team has grown over the past 4 years. We've become more serious. The practices have become harder. We've become more dedicated. And I think that ranking just really reflects that for us.
The meet against St. Mary's on Saturday will be your final home event. You're one of just 2 seniors on the women's roster, but there are 6 more on the men's team. What has it been like to train with and compete alongside your classmates over the last 4 years?
It's been absolutely amazing to watch the 6 of us or the 8 of us grow over the past 4 years. We started as a much bigger class, but like I said, we've become more serious, more streamlined, and more dedicated, and that's really bonded us as a class. And it's really cool sitting next to someone in class, or I even traveled to Nicaragua with one of the men for a volunteer experience, and it's been so amazing to be not just teammates but friends with those people.
What are your expectations for the upcoming ODAC championship, as well as what the Generals hope is a return trip to the NCAA meet?
I see ODACs as a true showcase for us of all the work that we've put in and everything that we've been building towards, and it's a real opportunity for us to show our sportsmanship. And then Nationals is the stage where we can show that we're a force to be reckoned with.
Mara, thanks for joining us. Best of luck with the rest of the year.
Thank you.
With me now is Matt Kaminer, senior wrestler from Hewlett, New York. Matt, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
WNL notched its first 2 Centennial Conference wins of the season on Saturday, beating both Muhlenberg and Ursinus. How important were those victories for the team?
They were 2 pretty big wins. I think we were all excited about how we wrestled. You know, Muhlenberg is a team that we generally have been pretty competitive with over the past couple of years, so it was good to get that decisive dual win. And then Ursinus, obviously, that's a really huge accomplishment. You know, that's a team that's really had the better of us for most of the past decade or so, and definitely while I've been here. So it was good to kind of put a stamp on that win. You know, I think as far as whether it's important for the team, I think it's a little tricky because we're not training every day to beat Ursinus or Muhlenberg or any of these teams. I think our focus is pretty much solely on the regional and national tournaments. So it's a good win in the moment, and we're excited about how we wrestled, but I think that kind of goes away once we get on the bus and get back in the practice room, just because we know we have so much more to go. So we're excited about the wins, but people are already back in the room, back in the film room, watching, getting better, even with as much success as we had. So that's encouraging for sure.
As you mentioned, it was the Generals' first victory over Ursinus in quite a while, since 2006-2007, and you scored the decisive victory that lifted WNL to the team win. How exciting was that moment for you? It
was really exciting. You know, having been the heavyweight for 4 years now and almost always being the last person to wrestle, I've kind of gotten used to going into the big moment with the opportunity to get the win for our team. So I was keeping track of the dual score for most of the match, so I knew going into the last couple that it was probably going to come down to me. And so when I went out there, I was just excited. It's another opportunity to compete, score as many points as I can. And I went out there just trying to be focused on the goal. Sometimes I think about the team score as for the purpose of encouraging me, never to bring me down. So I go out there just confident, ready to do what I do, and got the win for the team. It was super exciting for us seniors. It's huge. That wasn't the result that we could have envisioned a couple years ago. So to be able to finally beat Ursinus as a senior in one of our first conference duels was huge, and it's only encouragement going forward into the conference schedule.
When you're not competing with the wrestling team, you're often found in the stands as a very enthusiastic presence at other Washington and Lee sporting events. How much have you enjoyed supporting your fellow student athletes over the last few years?
I think that's been one of the best parts of my WNL experience. You know, a few years ago, as a team, we decided just as something we were going to do kind of within our culture was to start going to other teams' games and support them. So from the past couple of years, we've been to almost every WNL sporting event, men's and women's soccer, basketball, volleyball, field hockey, all those things, away games. And I've made it kind of a point for our team to make sure that when we go to those games, we're pretty loud, not just a kind of a presence there, to make our presence known, know that the teams will hear us. And those teams appreciate that. I think we all on our team understand what it means to be a student athlete here, the difficulties in balancing work, life, and kind of our second job as a student athlete. And so we want to make sure that other student athletes can have that experience of having that rowdy crowd, and hopefully for our team in the process be able to bring some of those fans back to our matches as well.
WNL has a lot of home action coming up. Southern Virginia Friday, two more Centennial Conference rivals, Gettysburg, McDaniel on Saturday. What's in store for the Generals this weekend?
Friday's a big match. That's our senior night against Southern Virginia. We're excited about that. I think that's a team who we're always competitive with. It's always a good duel when they come around or when we go to them. So we really want to just put a show on for our fans and honor our 5 seniors. And then Saturday is like last weekend, 2 more competitive duels against McDaniel and Gettysburg, 2 teams that offer their own unique challenges to us. So each of us have our own matches that we're focused on, things in practice throughout the week that we're going to improve on from last weekend, even though we obviously had so much success. And we're going to go into this weekend, and I think we're excited. I think there's 2 teams that can push us, and even though it's not the national tournament, any opportunity that we can get to go out there and fight hard for 7 minutes, score a lot of points, and show what we're about, that's an opportunity that we cherish. So we're excited.
Matt, thank you for joining us. Good luck with the remainder of the season.
Thanks, Jeremy.
It's time now for a look at the upcoming weekend. Men's and women's track and field head to Salem for Roanoke's Finn Pincus Invitational, which starts on Friday. Wrestling will play host to 3 dual matches, taking on Southern Virginia on Friday, and then welcoming in Centennial Conference foes Gettysburg and McDaniel on Saturday. Also Saturday, men's and women's swimming will face St. Mary's. Men's basketball meets Guilford at the Warner Center, while women's hoops travels to Greensboro to face the Quakers. For WNL Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.